so that way you can.
I'm gonna just go live.
And we got the volume is turned up. Yep, I can see it.
Can you hear me?
I can edit that part out. It's not 10 o'clock yet, but you see it streaming
Yes, I do.
on both.
Close some of these. I don't need all these.
Can you push that off to the side so your microphone can take the stage? Can you push your?
Facebook is right here.
Bottom left of your screen, bottom left.
Boom.
Is your phone turned down? You already sharing.
Okay. So welcome. Thank you everybody for joining me again for my third Saturday on how to start your podcast on a tight budget. And I really want to talk about the last thing that, I feel like I see a lot of information when they tell you, well, you need the equipment, you need this. And so I really like to also talk about the psychological part of it all. And that to me is something that I think should be explored a little bit more, is because the psychological part, first of all, this is not an easy task. This is doing podcasting. People think it's so easy, but it's not. It's not easy at all. I'm so sorry I forgot to introduce myself if I have not introduced myself. Hi, my name is Sherry. I'm from Sylvr Media, and I am doing a podcast this morning, hopefully to share my experience with you. That way, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I have my whole little setup ready to answer any questions that you may have. And so now I am going to move on into my live stream podcast that I want to talk about how to start your podcast on a tight budget. And this is the last series, the last part of this whole series. And this part is dealing with yourself, dealing with a psychological issue. So I'm going to tell you what I did cover. So I covered, in the first part, I covered the equipment. So equipment is important, but equipment doesn't have to be expensive. And in that, I provided some links to some of the equipment that I use in my tiny podcast studio, because I am a part of the tiny podcast studio movement. So I don't use a lot of expensive equipment. I use my phone. My phone is my camera. That's what I use it for. And I also use a tripod that I sit my phone on. And it wasn't expensive. And I have light panels. I have a small desk. So I have the links to the different ones below. So please do not hesitate to check out some of those links that I have in the very first part 1. So now I moved on. Last Saturday we talked about subscriptions and video editing tools that you can use at a low cost, or let me rephrase it. You can use for free or at a low cost. 'Cause I don't want to go low cost and free. We're gonna go free and then low cost. So you're gonna want to try them out. So I talked about the ones that I use. I didn't start using all of these subscriptions right away. I started out with CapCut immediately because I wanted to edit my episodes, and right away I wanted to try to feel like I just wanted to be knee deep in it. So I did. So I started out with CapCut. It was a cheaper price back then. It went up by $10. Don't even get me started because I'm not happy that it went up by $10. So we ain't gonna talk about that. But just for you to be aware. So we talked about that editing tools. We talked about subscriptions. We talked about distribution, a software that will definitely work for you when you are trying to post your podcast on different platforms. I talked about platforms and learning your platforms. So I should have all that in part 2 of this series. So now I'm moving on over to part 3. Now, I have to say that part 3 is really like a number game when you're dealing as you're a podcaster. I originally came on here is because I want to share my breast cancer journey my after breast cancer journey with you, because my life has changed. It's different. It's not the same as it was before. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I wasn't really coming on trying to see the numbers, but you know what? The numbers are important. You want to see how many people that you are giving this information to. So that's important. And then secondly, you get paid when you reach a certain amount of numbers. So we're here for 2 things. We're trying to help as many people as we can, and the other thing is, if you're trying to do a side hustle because we know the economy is not that great right now. You know what I mean? And I just want to say this because this is a sidebar. I am going to talk about how to use some of your apps for when you go into the store. Some of these apps save you money because I'm going to save this part to the end, because I was in the store with my sister last night, and she got some stuff for free. And she got it if she purchased these items. She was able to get these things for free because they run a special in the ads, the weekly ads. And you buy this, you get this stuff for free. I was like, wow, it's something for free. Anyway, so I was just basically talking about it's a numbers game. So don't they tell you don't watch the numbers, but I'm going to say you want to watch the numbers because you do want to make sure you're reaching that right audience that you want to reach. And here's the most important thing when it's talking about having a healthy mental space. Don't let it get to you. If it's not growing, don't get upset. Don't freak out. Don't panic, because your audience is going to find you, and you're going to find your audience. So just remember, it is a numbers game, but not to the point it should make you crazy. You're doing it so you trying to see how many people you're helping, as well as trying to find the right people that's interested in what you're talking about. So for me, it has been I've been watching my numbers. They're slowly growing. They're increasing. So I'm happy to see that. So just remember, don't let it make you crazy. Learn your analytics, because I talked about that last Saturday when I said analytics are important. And why are they important? Because they give you information as far as what time your audience is coming on and when is the best time for you to post. And here is the most important thing. If I haven't said it in the last 2, consistency is key. Consistency is key, okay? Because you're not going to really, it's like somebody come to your channel and you're not posting for another 2 months. They're not going to keep coming back to your channel. Make sure you constantly posting so you can reach that audience. And we want to know what's happening with you. We want to know how you're dealing with life right now, because it may apply to mine. So consistency is key. So let me look at my notes and make sure. And I want you to remember to celebrate the small wins. So if one subscriber started following you today, that's a win. Be consistent. They'll keep coming back. So make sure you stay consistent. So now, How do we stay consistent? One of the things you can do to stay consistent is you can take your long form videos and change them over to short form videos. And I gave you a breakdown of the different platforms and how they kind of work, how you want to kind of use it for you to draw, to funnel more people to your channel or your video. So you want to sometimes think about repurposing by batch plotting, or I'm sorry, I think I'm at work somewhere. Batch plotting is all engineer stuff. So you want to do batch recording of episodes. So you can take that one long episode and chop it up, and you can then release the best parts. Make sure you reference the main long video so you can have them go back and check out that long video, because they might want to see the whole thing because you showed them just a little trailer teaser. So make sure you reference back to that, because you can, you'll see it when you're posting. When you're posting, you can put the relevant video in there. So just make sure you post it in there. So, and here's another thing. I wanted to get this to my sister, but I just started using the podcast planner. I think the podcast planner is great because a lot of times when you have an idea of a new episode and it's in the middle of the night, you want to grab something and write it down. So keep your podcast note. I don't even have, I don't, did I bring it? Well, anyway, I will, what I'll put a link in the description below so you can see the one that I'm using. Oh, and please, I cannot forget to say this. I will put the links in there. I am an Amazon affiliate. So click on the links. They will take you to all the things that I am using in my podcast studio and just using to organize my life, because I'm telling you, it's hard to keep up with this girl right here. It really is. So anyway, let me keep going here. So you want to batch record episodes. That will help you. You want to make sure you create a posting schedule, on these different platforms. So Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I'm not sure about Instagram because I use TikTok, and I and I use I use Facebook. Facebook actually posts to both of them for you. But it allows, so the reason I'm talking about this is because I want to say they allow you to schedule out your episodes. So use that. That comes in handy. That was sometimes if you're busy doing something else and you're working on a project, or maybe you work full time during the day. You just want to maybe schedule all your, no, I won't say maybe. You're going to schedule all your different short, long throughout the week. This way you can just focus on work and you already set up your plotting or your recording. Again, terminology from engineering is what I work in. So that's one thing. So so again, we're staying on healthy mental space. And I want to say, when you're in a healthy mental space, please think positive, because you're going to have some people slide up in your down low, okay, and start saying crap to make you feel bad. Don't let it get to you. There's a nice little ignore button, delete button. They also gave you a review, and they upped your number for watch time. Okay, so that's okay. They may not have nothing nice to say, but they definitely helped you out just now. But don't let it get to you. So if you get overwhelmed, I think the best thing for you to do is maybe step away from doing it for a while. Okay, so go ahead and schedule your episodes out. I think I need a little time off. Let me just step away for a week come back, or a day and come back. You don't want to be going too long because you don't want to lose your audience. So make sure you try to stay engaged as much as possible. Now, staying engaged is important. You want to make sure when they're saying something to you, you want to acknowledge them, because let me tell you, when I'm watching other podcasts and I type something in and they'll say my name, I'm like, I'm all excited because they acknowledge me. So they're keeping the audience engaged. So make sure you stay engaged, because that's the big part of being a podcaster. And so you want to ignore the noise, which I just talked about with you. Don't let the trolls get to you. Don't let the trolls have negative comments that shake you up and get you all off balance, and you start talking, and then the next thing you know, you got problems. So they helped you out. Even though they said something negative, they just gave you an extra view. So thank you so much. So when you start in that podcast, please remember to define your purpose. And sometimes when you do start feeling like, why am I doing this? Like, what? I think you should have the statement of why you started this podcast. Have it written down somewhere on your desk. So when you start feeling down and out and don't know why you're here again, and do I really need nobody? My numbers are growing slow. No, don't do that. Get that statement. I think you should even do a recording. Show how exciting you were when you first started. You were so excited. I think you should have a recording of it. So get that statement and you'll see why. Now, I'll let you figure out the rest when it come down to figuring out your niche, because I really, mine's is broad, because I really like to talk about anything that helps you have a stress-free life, things that is good for you dealing with staying stress-free, eating, gardening, walking, exercise, family time, all that's good for you. And it keeps your stress levels down, which will help you prevent you from cancer from trying to make its way back in, because all your immune systems are down, and it's something that cancer is going to try to roll back in there. And so, listen, I think that let me make sure I got everything in my notes, because I don't want to miss anything. So here it's saying maintain, which I talked about, maintain a positive mental mindset at all times. So make sure you are the cheerleader for yourself. Okay? You're the cheerleader for you, because I'm the cheerleader for me. So make sure you're the cheerleader for yourself. Make sure you focus on engaging with positive and supportive audience. So you want to make sure that you're engaging with them, because they like you. They wouldn't be watching if they didn't. So engage with them, talk with them. That keeps your mind nice and healthy, and keeps it going. And you can also, if you are if you have a lot of comments coming through, sometimes you might have someone that sits in the room and check all that, and throw the negative people. Just throw them out. Nobody needs them, so put them out. You don't need them. And they're saying the negative things to you, even though, again, they're giving you some numbers. So all in all, my one thing I said was some of the things I wish someone would have spent time telling me. And this was it. Like, Sherry, don't focus on that. Don't focus on this. Don't focus on that. Before I started my podcast. I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference. I would have still started my podcast anyway, right? I would have started it anyway. But it's nice to sometimes go in knowing how you should handle things. And I have great support surrounding me. It keeps me going. It keeps me moving forward. And when I'm feeling a little down, even me, a cheerleader for myself, get tired of sharing. So I'll be like, okay, I have to go talk to somebody else. And my family members, they'll come. I got a great mentor. She's there for me anytime. She's a wonderful mentor. So I want to say this before I wrap this up because I try to do about 20 minutes. I don't want to drag it out too long, but I hope that you guys got something from what I talked about today. Please have a healthy mindset when dealing with the numbers, negative trolls coming through. Don't let them get to you. You are there to share your story, and I feel like everybody has a story. You all have a story, and we would love to hear it. Be consistent. Make sure you're consistent. Consistency is key when you're building your platform. That's the number one thing. Consistency, 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 along with engaging your audience. So make sure you engage your audience. Don't forget to do that part, because I'm kind of a really closed person. So when it was like engage your audience, I'm like, oh man, I'm quiet. I don't want to. But I started engaging. I started talking. So hopefully, if you're not that person, try to be that person. That's how you're gonna get more people coming in. They're gonna see you very personable, and they're gonna want to talk to you. So consistency is key. Make sure you are organized. Make sure you have a planner. You're well organized, because those things will keep you on track. I mean, I find sometimes when I sit down, and if I just have two things written down, I feel like I already won. But if I don't write anything down, I feel like, what am I doing right here now? What was I sitting here for? So just try to be organized. Try to write some things down that you want to work on or what you're trying to do. I think those are important. So that's one of my wrap-ups for the day. Consistency, organization skills. You are your cheerleader for yourself. Stay positive. Don't get caught up in the negative nannies. Let them go somewhere else. Don't let those trolls mess with you. Celebrate your small wins. Please remember, the smallest win sometimes will get you over the hump that you're feeling right now or at that moment. So I feel good. So now that is where I'm going. This was part 3 of my how to start your podcast on a tight budget. I will leave a lot of information below for you that you can look through. Again, I am an Amazon affiliate. I am required to say that whenever I ask you to click on these links. So you can use those links and use some of the equipment or try some of the subscriptions. But there's plenty out there besides the ones that I'm talking about. I only going to really talk about the ones I know, but there's a ton of, when I say a ton, there's a ton of things out there. So this is me, and I have not been doing this, and I am going to do it. So the number one thing, I think, because I am a breast cancer survivor, and this is to all my breast cancer survivors and all my co-survivors that's with me, I'm going to say this: the best detection is early detection. I always get that wrong. I haven't said it in a long time, but anyway, the early detection is the best detection. So you see, I already messed it up. So that means I need to get back in my studio and start recording. So it's exactly what it is. Early detection is the best protection. So please remember to go get your annual mammograms done. If you haven't gotten them done, go get them done. And if you had it done, put it on the calendar for next year. So until next time, I want everybody to enjoy a nice cup of tea. Bye.